Hello students, very good evening to all of you. How are you all? Am I audible and visible? Am I live? Let me check. It will show in my phone. Hmm. Okay. Yes. Done. Let's start. Now, we are going to deal with one shot. We are dealing with one shot series. Today we are going to take class 12th chapter, evolution, class 12th, evolution. Okay. Now, this chapter is very interesting topic. Okay, very easy topic, very short topic. Means this chapter only relates with theory. So we are going to cover only some important points. We are not going to cram the theory and make the lecture boring. Okay, so evolution deals about diversity. More the diversity, more the diversity, more the evolution. Evolution indicate gradual changes in a person who always comes from a same descendant or a same ancestor. Okay, the scientific theory of evolution is actually a organizing principle of life science. Evolution. What about question? Three question. Now, evolution marks the life science. Evolution marks the life science. Evolution marks the life science. Okay. Now, we can say that the theories of evolution comes from evidence. Theories of evolution comes by evidence. Okay, comes by evidence. Now, what else? What do you mean by evolution? Evolution means all living organisms on the earth are descendant from a common ancestor. Means if you are a child, your ancestors are father, mother, then their father, mother, then their father, mother, last generation father, mother. So, descendant of a common ancestor. Living organisms, living organisms are descendants of common ancestor. Okay, of common ancestor. Then we very well know that Earth is having, lots of biodiversity. Each and every organism has its own size, shape, structure, form, has, different physiological activities. Okay. Now, this concept of that, living organism are descendants of common ancestor given by Charles Darwin. Darwin, Origin of Species. Now we very well know that lots of theories are there who are telling about the origin of universe, the origin of earth. That is Big Bang theory, neospermic theory. Okay. Some experiments are also occurred to clear each and every theory of evolution. Experiments are conducted. Experiments are conducted. Now, initially, when the earth is manufactured, there was no oxygen. Very few microorganisms are there who can survive in that anaerobic atmosphere. Initially, anaerobic atmosphere. Initially, anaerobic atmosphere. Where lack of oxygen. Where lack of oxygen of there. Panspermic theory, neospermic theory. Hi, hi, 𝐓𝐚𝐥𝐤. Hi, hi, hi. Okay. Now, if we consider the concept of adaptation, adaptation means organism have the capacity adapted any kind of atmosphere, especially the organisms who are warm blooded, who are homeothermic. They don't change their body temperature according to outside temperature. They have the most greatest power to acclimatize in any atmosphere. Okay, so adaptation depends on mainly uh, favorable for favorable for uh, warm blooded organisms, favorable for warm blooded organisms, more power, more power of acclimatization, acclimatization. What else? Acclimatization. है ना? Means they have the power of adaptive radiation. They have the power of adaptive radiation. There are lots of concept of analogous organs, homologous organs. What do you mean by homologous? Homologous organs are homologous organs are homo, same in structure but different in function. Same in structure, different in function. Okay. Then analogous, same in function, different in structure. Okay. Now there are various evidences of evolution. How means how we trust the scientists. They have given the evidences like fossils, biogeography, law of segregation. evidences of evolution, like fossils, biogeography, okay, uh, law of superposition, artificial selection, position, artificial, artificial selection, vestigial organs, which are present in the body but functionless. Vestigial organs. Okay, vestigial organs. Then comparative anatomy, comparative anatomy. Now, the best example of adaptive radiation is the Darwin Finches in Galapagos Island, who tells the basic concept, the main concept of survival of the fittest. Okay, done? Is it clear? Darwin Finches. Darwin, Darwin Finches in Galapagos Island. They adapt their beak for their nutrition. Adapt for their adapt beak for their nutrition. Okay, which actually tells the survival for the fittest. The finches, the birds who adapt their beak to utilize the food, whatever type of food is present, they are able to survive. Okay, fittest. Dinosaur fails in this. Dinosaurs fails in this. Done. Now, if we consider ourselves to our ancestors, how many factors consider? Okay, fossils, then DNA. DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribonucleic acid. It is the genetic material. Genetic material. Double stranded. Double stranded. Double stranded. Okay. base pairs are there, pentose sugar. Done. Can you compare the embryo of one organism to another, which actually indicate the descent from? Yes, embryology, embryology, anatomy, physiology, comparative studies, comparative studies. Embryonic development tells the greatest way of comparative function, comparative embryology. Okay, this is purely theoretical topic. We are dealing with only the important points. Now, are species are static or dynamic? No, species are dynamic. Species are dynamic. Okay? Species are dynamic. They will undergo the procedure of natural selection. Natural selection. What natural selection show? That variations are always inherited, and this inheritation is due to the gene present in the DNA. Variation in the form of characters are inherited. Okay, gene present in DNA chromosome. Hereditary material. This is gene. Particular point of location of gene is called locus. So many points are loci. Now, this coding eye color, this coding skin color. Okay, that's why half of the chromosomes are from mother and half of the father. So some characters are inherited by father and some are by mother. Okay, is it clear? I think we have covered almost all the points. Okay, yes, last but not the least, there are 7 stages, 7 key stages of evolution. The form of Diropithecus, Pithecus, Ramapithecus, Australopithecus, Neanderthal, Homo sapiens. Okay, is it clear to everyone? So this is all about your today's chapter. We have covered important points of evolution. Actually, if we deal with the complete cramming of this chapter, now this chapter will become so boring. This is so boring chapter. Why? Means it is boring in the form of theory, but it is, if you learn it properly, then it is an interesting topic. Boring doesn't mean that I am going to tell you that leave the chapter. No, this is an important chapter. 2 to 3 question, but I have covered almost all the important points in one frame, so that the chapter will not become boring. Okay, students. Till then, bye bye. Have a nice day. Thank you.